So we have the troop, which is not what I thought it was. I thought it was like a like Stranger Things Goonie vibe. It was like Lord of the Flies. Like,
yeah.
But basically these kids are on like a what are they called? The scout trip.
Yeah.
On an island, and then there's this dude that shows up who's infected with these worms, and shit goes just downhill from there.
Yeah, we find out that the worms were grown in a lab.
Yeah.
And they were designed to be a slimming pill. But instead of slimming you down, it just made yourself eat to death.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you turned into skin and bones and then basically died. And the worms came out of your skin and went everywhere.
Fucked.
Okay, yeah. So what do you want to rate it out of 10?
I'll give it like a 7.
A 7, wow.
Yeah. It like really it's like a 6.8.
Really?
But we'll give it a 7.
Oh, wow.
I'm being a bit more harsher on books now, like, because like the first 20 books I read last year, like, 9 out of 10. Like,
I was gonna say like it's up there for me. It's like a 9. It was like
really?
pleasantly surprising.
Okay.
Yeah, it was like obviously it has its downfalls, but like
yeah,
it was pleasantly surprising to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, Seven's good. Like I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Oh, you enjoyed it.
It's
yeah.
just not perfect. You know?
Okay. Yeah, it wasn't perfect, but I thought it was good and it gripped me as a story.
Okay.
So I'll give it a 9.
Alright.
Yeah.
Do you want to go over your notes?
My notes, yeah. I thought that there was like really good character development in it.
Okay.
And a lot of the different characters, like you had, obviously it was a small town outside of the islands. I can't remember.
Like a fishing town.
Yeah, fishing town. Like everyone's granddad or whatever was a fisherman.
Yeah.
So it's a small island, small town, and you got that small vibe. So it
is like a set of islands, eh? Like they're on the main island, and
yeah,
the camping trip is on like a smaller.
Yeah. So it was good. The character development was good on that, and it set up like the jock character was this guy Kent. Then you got like the nerd character who was Note, and then like you went. I thought the backstories on each one was individually was interesting.
Yep.
Like even the doctor who was the scoutmaster, he was doing that because his dad thought he was like a bit of a pussy and a shit cunt, and like everyone else in the sort of in the small town thought he was like a bit of a weirdo as well, and that like he had to hang out with kids and all this other stuff. But he was actually a combat medic or something, a combat.
Yeah, he spent
surgeon.
Time in Afghanistan.
Yeah, so I thought that was interesting that like you do have someone who's very knowledgeable. You have someone who has been in a survival situation, but in a small town that's poked at like. Yeah. That's poked at like, there's something wrong with you. There's something wrong with you. He's going to hang out with kids and do survival training stuff.
It's like the Kent's dad was like, he's probably gay.
Yeah.
That's never established either way, eh?
No, it's not. No, it's not.
Doesn't matter, I guess.
Yeah. I got the feeling that he was just a genuine guy, to be honest.
Yeah.
What else was it? The initial start of the book, when you have like the police report, I think it is, and it's about the guy going into the diner, eating a whole lot of food and like eating himself almost to death.
Eating the napkins.
I thought, what the hell is this story about? Like, what have I got myself into? This is crazy. Yeah, so I thought that was really cool. It was a cool way to start it, and I thought that it was interesting how it did divide. So you have a main story, following the kids and being on a troop for the island and everything else, and then the secondary parallel story was like these police reports and the trial that was going on, and that gave you extra information to what the disease and what the worms actually were and how they were made.
Yeah. So on the very last page, it has like the author's notes, and he talks about how he copied the format from Carrie.
Oh, okay.
Did they have that in the audiobook?
No, didn't have that, no.
Yeah, he was just like, hey, love Stephen King, I'm just stealing the format, everything else is kind of different, but like, I felt it fit. But I guess in Carrie it has like the same, like, news reports throughout.
Yeah. I thought it was interesting that there was even a Stephen King thing on the front cover of the book.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I thought that was cool. I mean, appropriation where we
Yeah.
get it, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool. So, yeah.
Alright.
What do you think? Are you chuck anything in there?
Yeah, definitely wrong about the vibe it was going for. It was like much more darker, and only like two or three of them were like kind of actually friendly with each other. Like,
Yeah.
no one like really like Kent. No one, especially like Shelley. And everyone bullied Newt.
Yeah.
I mean, Max and Newt were probably the nicest out of them all, but like Ephraim
and Max were friends. They were,
yeah, but like Ephraim had some redeeming qualities. Like he acknowledged he was like had this anger issue.
Yeah.
He like tried to stop it, but eventually got the better of him.
I thought that the character development was really good on it, eh? Like those backstories and those little like
The shrink or whatever.
yeah, those little like introspective moments where it showed, I am an angry person, and my mum knows I'm an angry person, just like my dad or whatever.
Yeah.
But
Everyone thinks I'm going to turn out like him.
yeah, so
Yeah.
it was like, it was really introspective, really good.
I felt like, especially near the end, where it had like the previews of what the virus does, especially with the chimpanzee,
Yeah.
whatever it was. That was cool to see in one way, but it also spoiled what was going to happen in another way.
Yeah, foreshadowing, eh?
So maybe that could have been done a bit better. Like maybe, especially like the ripping off their own skin and stuff.
And eating it and that.
It was still great, but I was like, okay, I knew what to expect. Nothing was super surprising when like Kent was all fucked up in like his final moments.
Yeah, I thought that was really quite an interesting moment. Like, you had Shelley leading him out of the cave and like leading him to the water and doing all the psycho stuff. Yeah.
I thought Shelley was like a convenient fucking Hannibal Lecter wannabe. Like we definitely needed a human antagonist in this as well. But it was just like, oh, he can control people by like convincing them to do shit like that. It's like he's like 14, and he's like, oh, you should cut yourself. You should do that. It sounds like a good idea. Like, oh, okay, I'll do that. Like, it was.
The convincing,
wasn't bad.
The convincing stuff though wasn't like that as much though. So I guess that's why I didn't have as much of a problem with it. It's more like, oh, you can eat our food. Go and eat our food. Enjoy it.
Yeah.
And it's like the guy's like starving himself to death, and like he's really hungry anyway. So it's not really much convincing. It's more he's a voyeur. Like he's like he's watching them as they slowly fucking die, pretty much, and he's enjoying that.
But he's like basically mind controlling Ephraim.
That was a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, that was like, oh.
But that's because he was insecure. He was really insecure, and he could see that. But how much? Yeah, I didn't buy that much either. Just because they had touted this character as being stupid, and for him to have such awareness of someone else, you have to have some kind of intelligence. And even when when it was written, the introspective moments, the language was dumbed down.
Yeah.
So like even with the dumbed down language and him seeing these other aspects of someone else, I don't think he put two and two together enough.
There were a couple gems of chapters near the end. Like I think it was Max when he was talking about how kids can handle certain situations better than adults.
Yeah.
And also him being afraid of turning into an adult as well. Like he didn't want to lose that sort of, you can believe in anything, like an adult. And it kind of shows panicked more with the situation with the worms. Like this goes against everything that I know, but kids are like, oh.
And there was that sort of the thing right towards the end where they said the reason why they actually stuck together as a troop and had more chance of survivability is because they were kids and they were used to being told what to do.
Yeah.
And adults quite often don't know what to do, but they have no one to report to either.
That's
because
right.
like we're making our own way in the world.
Yeah.
And without
our
that,
own egos, we don't want to like.
Yeah.
or less likely to ask for help.
Do you feel like some of the training in school doesn't like really prepare you for that? Like you listen to this teacher, they're teaching you stuff, they're telling you what to do, da 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 da, and then as soon as you're out for yourself, you're like, oh crap, well, I don't know what I should do now.
I guess so. I mean, I think the only way to really learn that stuff is to figure it out for
Yeah,
yourself.
100%.
Like someone can tell you what to do, but you're like, oh fuck that guy, and then you make the mistake, and then you learn from it. Like, oh, okay, they were right, but
I should have cut myself.
You had to learn it. It's like, this is like an extreme, but like addicts they have to hit rock bottom.
Yeah, before they can
like
realize.
Everyone's told them like don't do it, but they have to experience it for themselves.
True.
Another chapter that
it's weird to like experience it like that is all lead you to do something else. Don't worry.
That's okay. It was that chapter I was talking about earlier was 36. This 43 with Newt, and he was talking about his mum, who loves him so much, actually hurts him sometimes, like trying to protect him and everything.
Yeah.
That was a gem.
I thought that whole interaction with him as a mum was really interesting, and I thought that like he'd never asked about his dad because his dad was a one night stand with the mum. I thought that was interesting too, and that their whole dynamic was really weird. It was really weird, but it worked, and like he was happy going along and noting stuff down in the bush and stuff, and it was her wanting him to have friends pushed him to the troop, but she also didn't want him to be in the troop because there's more chance of him getting hurt.
Yeah,
it was like a catch-22 for her.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad there wasn't like a chapter from her afterwards, because it would just be like heartbreaking.
Oh yeah, hell yeah. Well, he gets shot in the head.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was the most likable character, I felt.
Definitely. Like his flaw was, aside from being like a nerdy and that, not really a flaw, but the whole alter identity that he took his cousin's photos.
I thought that was interesting as well.
Yeah, I mean that's like the creepiest thing. It's kind of weird thing to do, but it's like not much.
But if you're in a situation where you're bullied by everyone, that's something that you do.
It's a reaction to
yeah. I thought that was really cool.
But my point is like he's likable even.
Yep.
Because of that. What else do I have? So I read that book, The Commune, last week or whatever.
Yeah.
That also has like, it's a virus thing that like kills a bunch of humanity. I'm like, why the fuck am I reading all this shit with like the coronavirus? It's like all this contagious shit going on. I don't know why I happen to like read all these books.
It was probably a subconscious just slipping in there and then like
yeah. I'll probably deworm the dogs next week.
Yeah.
What else? Okay, I wrote some notes just earlier as well that kind of half cover what I did, but like the prose, creepy and very visual descriptions. Which
very visual. Very visual descriptions.
The info dumps were mostly well handled.
Yeah.
And the thought-provoking chapters like 36, 43 with the kids can handle the situation better than Newt with his mum. Cons, the other side of the info dumps is the like kind of spoiled what the worms do to a person.
Yeah.
And the convenience of Shelley being a super sociopath.
Yeah, that was, you do get a mixed bag when you go in the troop though. You get a mixed bag of people. You're always going to get some nutcase. And in any group, there's like someone that they don't like as well, or someone who's a bit weird.
But yeah, 7 out of 10. I enjoyed it. I'm glad I finally finished it after reading. I think I got maybe halfway a couple of years ago.
One of the downfalls of it is definitely that overshadowing. With they have the whole thing with the monkey, then it happens to Kent, and then it happens right after with Shelley.
Yeah.
Like, you're getting too much of the same shit happening all the time.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, okay, well, a little bit boring that we've witnessed this 3 times, and there's a lot of the same descriptive things for each time it's happened, like a lot of the same descriptive things, where like they go through a euphoric stage when they're really, really weak at their...
and they think they're strong.
Yeah. The weird thing about that is that like it might not be that hard to like defend against one of them.
Yeah, it would just be the risk of infection is the only thing.
And like
just push them over.
Yeah, like I
push
don't...
them over with a stick.
When Max and Newt like were fighting Shelley towards the end, and he's like
in the cave. Or...
Yeah, I thought that fight would go a lot different. Instead, like he popped his guts all over him and stuff like that. And, but I really don't think that Newt should have been infected. I think it would have been more devastating for him not to be infected, and him say, "Oh look, I'm hungry," and then get shot anyway.
Oh, yeah.
That would have been impactful.
That would have. That's absolutely right. Yeah.
But whatever. I mean, it was a good book for me. I enjoyed it. It was something different. Like I didn't go into it really expecting too much. I was like, oh yeah, shit, I'll just go into it and I'll give it a read and stuff. And I thought it was a bit crap towards the start because I was like, oh, I didn't really like that. I think this is a bit annoying. This guy eating all the paper towels and everything else. It's like, oh yeah, I can see this. He's gonna meet up with the troop and make everyone sick, and then like everything past the halfway point was like really quite good. But obviously there was that like repetitive stuff as well.
Dude, I cracked up. I think. Did you ask, like, in the first few days of us starting it? I think you asked me, oh, what do you think so far, or something like that?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, blah, 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 blah. What about you? And you're like, yeah, it's alright. I was like, okay, we'll save it for the...
Yeah, well, I just didn't... I love to talk to you about these things, but I do feel like I might lose something when I come to do the podcast. I'm like, oh, I didn't discuss that thing.
Yeah. The turtle... That whole thing was...
That was fucked, eh?
It was fucked up. Another kind of...
So what'd they do with the turtle?
They bury it.
Yeah.
It was just like super guilt-ridden, and once they started, like they had to finish it.
It wasn't like chances of eating it though, right? Like you're gonna fucking eat that turtle.
They probably should have, but I guess they just felt
guilty about it afterwards, right?
About it, yeah. When Max got stabbed, there was not much, like, I was expecting more. There's like one thing of like, oh, it tore open a little bit when he moved around or something, but then it's like the next day it's like not mentioned.
Yeah.
It's like, because it's even like, I think the knife was like that long, I don't know how deep it actually got, but you get stabbed, like you're gonna, it's gonna be a constant pain.
Yeah. That was one of the other things I felt didn't really get exposed as much. Like the injuries and stuff was a little glossed over for more explanation about the worm.
Yeah.
And I was like, and there was lots of stuff that was a missed opportunity because we had repetitive stuff about the worm. Like that last part where you had Ephraim who was not infected but thought he was.
Yeah.
You had Newt and Max. They could have gone on like a whole adventure, like where they were trying to get off the island, and the survivability things of it could have been a bit more. Yeah. I suppose that's what he tried to do with the turtle thing, but largely Ephraim was like out of shot. Like you could have had like slightly more stuff, and you could have had more bonding moments, and it would have like been more impactful for Newt's death towards the end. And that could have been something that he actually remembered at the end as well, because he has post-traumatic stress afterwards, right?
So, right at the end, he's like in a containment unit, isolation, for ages, and then he comes back and no one wants to be around him at all. His mum like doesn't even kissing on the lips. I think it's a bit weird when they're like 14 years old, but
doesn't want to kiss him or doesn't want to like give him a hug or whatever.
Difference. And then he like goes back to the island, and it's hinted at like he's still got a worm in him, or because he's like
right at the end.
He's like he felt hungry, like
I think that's probably a psychological thing. I think he is going back to the island to kill himself because he was persecuted. Like he was persecuted for surviving, really, which is absolutely shit. Like. I survived something horrible, watched all my friends die, and now I've got to go to a therapist that clearly wasn't helping these other guys.
Yeah. And the therapist wears a mask now.
And the therapist wears a mask. He's absolutely persecuted by people.
Well, I was thinking what would be a cool way if they wanted to do a sequel is use the same tact as the Cloverfield. So
yeah.
let's say he didn't go back to the island. Like they move away because no one likes him. He wants to be somewhere where he's not persecuted and judged and all that. But he is infected. And then the sequel's like a higher level, like this task force, and like the whole this whole city's infected, and there's this task force trying to deal with it. It's like from the point of view of them, so it's not like so much the individual anymore. So compare that to like Cloverfield with there's sequels, but one's like that chick in the basement.
Yeah, and one's
and then there's like in the spaceship.
Yeah,
it was really cool how they completely changed the style of the
what
story,
was going on,
but it's still about the same thing.
Yeah.
So that would be like a neat way to do a sequel.
That would be cool.
I might just steal that myself.
Yeah, dude,
steal my own idea.
Just steal your own idea. It's fine.
I mean, he kind of stole from Carrie. He even admitted it in the.
Yeah, well, it's all appropriation, eh?
Stealing, it's
appropriation. Using something good. Yeah. But I can see how that would work. I felt like there was like zero, like the interview with the dads who got beaten by the MPs was good, but you got like zero blowback on any of that stuff, and it's like, we loved our kids to do that, but really what that doctor who invented the worm said was, I invented this worm as a weapon because love kills people. It's about looking after someone. If someone gets sick, you're going to look after them. It's a second nature thing.
Yeah.
But when someone survives, they persecute the crap out of them. It's a really it was a dual thing, and really they isolated people every single time. Like it's like, oh, Kent, you're sick. You can just stay outside when the storm happens.
Yeah.
Scoutmaster putting you in a cupboard.
Yeah.
So, I understand the doctor's thinking, but there was a little bit of a opposite effect of that.
What was I gonna say?
Oh, how Max just fixes the boat at the end.
Oh yeah.
Well, I suppose everyone has a little bit of knowledge of those kinds of engines and stuff because it's a sea town or whatever. But why didn't anyone think of that beforehand?
Yeah, that was a bit. If you look at it from a storyteller's point of view, that's where you would want to put that. Right at the end, this thing from the beginning, we can do that.
Yeah, that's
which
true.
It doesn't seem as natural. It's kind of put there.
Yeah, as a tool.
Yeah, because if they thought of the spark plugs earlier,
they'd be gone.
Shelley would be much less likely to
have killed people.
Yeah. Who've been before.
What did you think about the chapter with just Shelley? And it was obviously you thought he was a convenient villain, but some of the stuff that he'd done in the past, where everyone in the school liked that same girl, and Kent says something about it. He wanted to marry her, and a few other people said stuff about it. Yeah. What did you think? I didn't really think the stuff that he did was that sick. Only the stuff where he was with the animals. With the animal, yeah. Where he was pulling the tapeworm out of the dog's bum and stuff like that.
Oh yeah. I mean, it was real well written. Yeah, that was fine. But the overall, just a lot of what he did was a bit convenient, turning super sociopath.
You know what I mean?
The worm kind of added to that. And
if he didn't kill anyone then, but watched Ken die and he got the heart on and everything, if he watched all of that stuff happen, right?
Yeah.
And then went back with Max and he was one of the survivors as well. A secondary book would be really good if he was a killer and he just liked to kill people, or he just liked to watch people die because of these worms, and he was the person making the.
That would be an interesting story.
Yeah.
The Kent's dad, the cop. There's a chapter from him, maybe midway or something, and he's like super skinny, and I was like, oh, he gets infected at some point, but then it's not mentioned at all. So was it like he was just because of being imprisoned by the military police, they just didn't feed him? Or?
Yeah, I think so.
But there wasn't that with Max's dad. It was like his knees fucked up. But
Yeah, that's all they mentioned. They said, oh, his knees were shot.
So I thought it got out, and like somehow the dad was infected and cured, but then it wasn't.
Well, I thought that was good because it was like that's what I thought as well when I heard it. I was like, did the mainland get infected as well? That's what I thought. But I thought that was good because it didn't, like, you want to have a few unknowns when you're reading a book, but it didn't really get explained. It was more like, I think that was he learned some like hubris or something, because it was like he was this big fat angry cop who thought that like he could do anything and say anything he wanted, and I think that he learned
humbled
something out of it.
Yeah, that could be it. I guess this is a book of like you see a glimpse of kind of how it ends, like with the chimpanzee or whatever, and it's more like, oh, how does it get to that point, or how does it get there, rather than being completely surprised, which is, it can be a good thing, and I think it was relatively well pulled off.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. 7 out of 10, 9 out of 10. It was alright.
Yeah.
I definitely thought that the interactions and the character building stuff was all good. But yeah, there were downfalls to it. I guess it's just, I guess I rated it that high because I enjoyed the smaller moments over the overall picture. Like sometimes, like I'll say the Wheel of Time, for example. Like there's really lots of cool moments in the book.
Yeah.
But the overarching story itself is so long. So it's like, oh come on, like I really want to get to like the next thing to see what happens. In this, all the payoffs were like the smaller things, whereas the overarching journey wasn't as interesting for me.
Yeah.
So yeah.
How many hours was it?
I'm not sure.
Because it's like 350 odd pages, but the print was quite larger than normal.
I think it might have been 20 hours or something.
Really?
Something like that. Or maybe 15 or something. I don't know.
It's like a standard novel length, I guess.
Yeah. 300 pages was alright. I thought it was good. I thought it was like all paced really well too. I'll just have a look. So, do you want to do a comic book as well for next time?
Yeah, can do. Would that be part of the next one, or like its own thing? We could do it on the same night.
Yeah, I suppose we could do it on the same night.
But yeah, maybe we'll do it on the same night, but like 2 separate videos, I guess.
It was, got here, 11 hours, 2 minutes.
Okay.
So it wasn't that long.
It sounds about right.
The Great Gatsby is only 4 hours, 5 hours or something.
Yeah.
I got that Outlander, the book, the first one, to see what it's like. TV show's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so did you want to do Starman for next one as well?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll do Starman and
Volume 1.
Figure out that next book as well.
Yeah, well, I guess we don't have to choose a bite today, but if there is something there, because we've got time, because I would say we stick with, well, up to you, but maybe we don't, whatever we choose, we don't start it until
that
next
month. Okay.
Do you reckon, or should we not be so strict?
I don't reckon we'd be so strict. I think this one's turned out pretty well, and it's like we only did do 2 weeks or something on this. So.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, all good. We could just release it during that month, I guess.
Yeah. Yep. Cool.
Yeah. Anything else you want to add before we?
No, is there anything you want to add?
I guess we'll just finish with what are you reading now? What are you planning to read next?
Oh yeah, okay. So what am I reading now? I'm at work. I'm reading Pacific Vortex, which is the first Clive Cussler book. It's pretty good. It's a lot better than the other one I was reading, because the other one I was reading is just like he saves the day, he goes home and makes a pot of tea, saves the day, goes on a date, then he saves the day again.
Sounds like short stories.
Yeah, it was really weird, and I had a hard time trying to get into it. It was like book 15, so I guess like he's used up a lot of good.
I mean, like 30 odd or something.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see what those last ones are like, I guess.
So you're reading them in, or you're not reading?
No,
them
I'm not
in
reading
order?
them in order. No, but I read
They're
them.
all standalone kind of.
Yeah, they're all kind of standalone, so that's what I quite like about them. But yeah, reading the first one, that was really good. What else am I reading? There was was it an audiobook I was doing? It was, I think. Let's have a look at my audiobooks. I just got the truths, the half truths, and the little white lies from Nick Frost.
Oh,
Yeah, so he's really. Yeah, it was interesting. I got the Great Gatsby on my Audible as well, but I've read that before. There's also a story that I got called Dare I Wanted to Tell You, and it's about a World War I soldier who's like fighting in the war.
Okay.
And for some reason he goes home. I can't remember why. Because it generally didn't happen in the war, where like a soldier manages to go home and then goes back. Anyway, he beats his wife, and there's all this horrible stuff that happens, and he has to think about it while being in the trenches still as well. And like she forgives him for it, and she's having his baby, and so it's just like a whole lot of psychological elements. I had a little look through that Black Prism that you gave me as well.
Oh yeah,
It looks cool. I might want to do that soon as well.
yeah, yeah, that'd be good. Should we just do you want to do that as like a book club thing, or we just read it in our own time and then do a?
Well, it's quite long, so
Yeah.
I reckon we do it as a book club thing, but just in our own time. So when we finish reading it, we'll just talk about it on the book
Yeah,
club.
so it'll just be a matter of taking notes and coming back whenever.
What about Orphan X? I saw that on the top 20 in the Whitcalls, and like we both have it now.
Yeah, yeah, we can actually. Look, so last night when I finished this, I got like Orphan X. This is what I ultimately chose, but this Child 44 and the Joe Nesbo, the next Harry Hole one.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, which one do I want to read? And I was like, oh, not this one because of blah blah blah. So it's definitely up there.
Cool.
Maybe in the next month or two. Maybe after this, I don't know.
Yeah, all good. Sounds good. Sounds good to me.
I'm only like past the prologue and one chapter in, so I can't really talk about this, but seems cool.
For a D&D book, like what is it like? Is it like real high fantasy, or is it like there's wizards everywhere?
I guess so.
Yeah,
because it's set in the same universe as like Baldur's Gate and stuff, which is like, you know, there's like mages and elves, and the main character's a dark elf.
Oh, okay, cool.
Drow. Seems pretty interesting. I've already bought like the first 12 books.
Oh shit!
Because those big fat ones have
Yeah.
like 3 or 4 in them.
Well, hopefully you enjoy it then.
Yeah, hopefully.
You don't want to get through that one and you're like, oh, this is a fucking waste.
No, I've heard really good things. But it's probably more geared for younger people. Like, I think this is like early teens could probably read this as well.
Oh, sweet.
But I think that might be refreshing going from like a super dark.
Yeah, I think so too. Like, yeah. Sometimes you need to change it up, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah.
And I'm just still listening to the Arisen 7, I think.
They're all blurring into one. What's happening in that?
I haven't listened to it much since we chatted at the pub, where like they're just going off to get supplies. Like Juice is the leader of this.
Oh yeah, there's a really cool like part with that actually.
There's a lot of backstory I noticed in this one. Like Ellie has a backstory. Like we know a little bit about them beforehand, but like there was a whole segment of like Juice defending this thing in Afghanistan or something where like everyone's down and he's like defending for a couple hours and he goes down to his pistol and then help arrives.
Yeah, I think there's some interesting things about like he probably should have started doing it in the first book, but it's good that he started like at least doing it halfway through.
Now it's on Amazon, and in the recommended thing were like all these kind of Arisen type series, like Apocalypse or like Solar Flare or
Extinction Cycle.
Yeah, and there was another one that was just by Glenn James. I was like, oh, I might check that out. So I've been thinking about checking out Michael Stephen Fuchs's D-Boys. Yeah. I think I got them on Plex.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah.
Not that I pirate anything. Yeah, I think that's kind of it from me. Gone over everything.
Yep, same here. So we'll do Starman next time round.
Yep. And
whatever book we decide. So yeah, that'll be good.
Sweet.
Sounds good.
All good to finish up?
Yep, finish up.